afternoon. I'm Jazz Tanke, Senior Artisans Editor at Variety. I am so excited. It would help if I turned the microphone on. I'm Jazz Tanke, Senior Artisans Editor at Variety. So excited to be here today. Thank you to SCAD Savannah Film Festival for having us. It's always a joy to be here. And costume design is one of my favorite conversations, and we've got a great panel of costume designers today. So let's meet our incredible panelists. I want you to give it up as I introduce them. First of all, you might know a show called Emily in Paris, right? We have Marilyn Fatoussi. Come on out, Marilyn. Ghostbusters Afterlife, we have Danny Glicker. Please welcome Mona May. Designer who's worked on a film called Joker Folie à Deux and has created costumes for an upcoming film with some up-and-coming actor called Timothy Chalamet on a film called A Complete Unknown. That's out in December. Please welcome Ariane Phillips. In House of Gucci, Prometheus, and Kingdom of Heaven. Please welcome Janty Ye. Such legends on this stage. It's such an honor to be here today. Come on, Janty. Janty went the wrong way. You're fine. Because I make the mistake of not turning my mic on. So I thought it'd be fun, rather than you listen to us chatting for 45 minutes and you all have some burning questions, we're going to turn this into like a fireside conversation, an interactive conversation, because I speak with these costume designers all the time, and we've heard our story. I've heard their story many times, but this is such a treat for them to be here in Savannah at SCAD with you all. I know some of you are fashion students, aspiring costume designers. So I'm going to kickstart the conversation, and then if you've got questions, raise your hands, and we're going to spend the next hour hearing what you want to hear from these incredible experts up here. So, how do you like that, right? Cool. So I'm going to start with you, Janty. Let's hear a little bit about your process, because you all have different ways of approaching a film or a TV show or a theatrical production that you're working on. Where do you begin when you take on a project? What is that process?
Well, I've been very fortunate because we've done quite a lot of period film over the last 24, 25 years. So I just researched the granny out of it from top to bottom, and that's it. I'm like a maniac with food. Can't get enough research, I don't think. And then after that, you can veer a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. Give them purple hats, whatever you want. You can just, what you're doing because you've got your research and you know what it was, and basically then you can just take a bit of an advantage, but not so much that it looks like a gym. So that's how I've started research.
Ariane, what about for you? Where do you start? What's your research process like?
Well, for me, is this on? Well, obviously with the script, which is always kind of the bait for inspiration, and that first conversation with the director to understand their vision and what they're trying to achieve and kind of greater meaning of the overall story. And then from there, it's really like a practical breakdown of what this story entails in terms of over how much time, whether it's one day or many years, where the geography, just getting into the minutia of the geographical, the social implications of the story, and it just really, I think for me, my process is dictated by the script. So whether it's a a fantasy film or a biopic where it's based on real research, then I kind of find my way in. But like Janty, I think one of my favorite parts of the job is the very beginning where you're a blank slate and you get to research, whether it's something you make up from your imagination or you're researching real people and real events.
Love that. Mona, what about for you?
I definitely concur with the ladies. This is, I think, the beginning, the director, of course, and the research. But for me, also, is the journey of each of the characters. Really, what is the emotional journey for each of the people that we're gonna really think of? Who are they? Where they started, and what's the beginning point in the script? Are they happy? Are they depressed? And where are they going? And what can we do as costume designer to show that journey in very much of a detail? I mean, it's what they're wearing, of course, but are their clothes are aged? Maybe they're sleeping in the same pajamas and they are depressed for a few days. What is it really that we can give more of the clues in the journey, emotional journey of the character? So that to me is really important. We spend a lot of time, I think, discussing that with the director, but also actors. When they come into our fittings, this is a really close conversation because in the end they have to embody the character. And they may have a clue for me as well that I can bring into the clothes, into the costume, how to represent that. Because in the end, they have to feel completely 100% the character. And those moments in our fittings, I think, are so incredible. When you really, it's almost like you get a little hair standing on your arm when you feel like we got it. And if you think of movies like Never Been Kissed, we start in point with somebody who's really ugly, and then they go on the fantastical journey and wear crazy boas in high school, and then she becomes who she is in the end, a grown-up, beautiful woman. So that's what I'm talking about, the emotional journey of a character.
Danny?
I think, like everyone, definitely I'm obsessed with research, and I always try to use the world building as an opportunity to express the truth of each character, but then also build around them their obstacles. And so I try to imagine not only what they're going through and how their clothes are a reflection of their pain. And I say that because whenever I read a screenplay, my first question is, who's in pain and why? Because every character, even if it's the happiest thing, is in pain, and they're trying to solve their pain, and that is usually the journey of a character. And it could be a very small pain or a very big pain, but it's what is it that they're trying to fix? And so I try to find my empathy for the characters and the ways in which, even if they're very different than me, I can understand their emotional journey and use the clothes to help unlock that. And then just as importantly, even with like the simplest costumes, say, but now how can I build a world around them that reflects the way in which they feel in the world or see the world, or the ways in which they don't feel included in the world, to try to help the audience understand that their journey is both internal, but then in their relationship to everything around them. And so I'm really always trying to kind of build these characters and these worlds through kind of like an act of radical empathy on my part.
Love that. Mariah, what about for you?
So I'm going to disappoint you, but I'm always started in a cafe. It depends, of course, like everybody, I'm starting with the script. But feel free to find your own way of inspiration. For me, it can be a cafe because I like watching new people and I'm taking notes about the cowboy boots, about the beautiful pink that you are wearing. Everything can be an inspiration. Of course, the script is the base of our work, but anything, fulfill your imagination. It can be a book, it can be a fabric, it can be a shoes. Sometimes I'm starting just because I love shoes and it's the point of inspiration. It can be everywhere, but you need to respect the body that you will address. You need to respect the actor who is behind, and for it to put his soul and his body kind of naked in front of you. You need to work with your director, with the DP if you can. It's just a question to have a team spirit, and you need hair and makeup needs you. we need to build a character, we need to build something who is beautiful or ugly to see, but who is interesting. So get and find your own way to inspiration. I'm a maniac of Pinterest, I should confess, but after, and trust your gut's feeling, trust your instinct all the time. It's long, hasn't it? So, but
No, that's a great answer. I mean, to that, you know, I speak to so many different costume designers, and like obviously technology has changed. Like, you know, I'm sure when you did Gladiator 25, 26 years ago, the internet wasn't a thing. Sorry.
We were dressing 3,000 people a day.
Ouch. That's a lot. I mean, you can see that.
So I am so happy that we only dressed on Gladiator 2 700 a day. Slightly better.
But I'm curious for anybody in this panel who wants to take this answer, like, how much do you embrace technology when you're doing your research? Or are you still like, I'm gonna go and look, you know, sit down in the library or like look at photographs?
Definitely museums and libraries I couldn't do without. And art galleries, because the director I work a lot with is a very painterly and will always throw out these artists that I have no idea who they are. But you know, you could see his vision. If it's a Bruegel and it's Middle Ages, you know exactly what Besant's vision looked like. So all of that, and of course the internet has really saved our bacon in our shoe leather, hugely. So thank goodness for that. Plus, not getting up at 2 in the morning to dress 3,000 extras.
Anyone else want to add to that? How you embrace technology or?
I mean, it's interesting, you know, technology has been around. I mean, I did Stuart Little 2 many years ago, and it was really quite interesting working with CGI character, you know, designing the CGI character, and I've learned a lot. So to me, the approach is always open and really, you know, learning from the other artists. In Enchanted, it was quite interesting. I got to work with 2D animation, live action, and CG, so the characters went through 3 different mediums. And you know, I think we have to embrace it. It's part of our job. I think how the technology now with AI is going to go further and further. So we have to blend it. You know, we have to really learn. And you know, I didn't know how to make clothes, CGI clothes, when I got to Stuart Little. And I learned, and I was able to work with the artists and create all the costumes in the computer. You know, do the fittings in the computer with guys who were probably half of my age. Who knew everything about the technology. So, you know, we are, I think, as costume designers, always going to be kind of the guiding line to the, AI, even, you know, whatever medium technology that we're working with. You know, they still will need us to really know the proportion and textures. I mean, the textures for Stuart Little were all created by me with the technology. I told them how the fabric has to move, and, you know, is it shiny, or is it the jean fabric, or the sweatshirt, you know, everything. The AI, and I think the guys who do the technology don't have our knowledge. You know, we are the guiding light to them in some way.
Carry on.
Well, I was just going to say that I don't have a lot of experience with using technology in the films that I've designed, other than the fact that it's been a game changer for communication. So for me, and it isn't true with all directors I've worked with, but being able to communicate quickly and get answers and also share visuals in a way has been a huge change for me, and with my team, sharing research in that way. So the communication aspect has been really great. I do think that I personally have shied away from a lot of technology films that are based in technology for me personally, because I'm still really going after the organic experience. I did have one experience working for a couple months on an animated film with an illustrator in an office, and I found that challenging for me. I still went out and got fabrics, and the animators were really happy about that so that they could learn the nuances of fabrication. So I'm completely excited about technology. It's just I haven't had maybe the experience some other people have had on this panel. I am concerned about, I mean, Janty, I totally understand not wanting to get a bit too and dress all these people, but the harsh reality about a lot of this digital work is that actors are being multiplied in scenes, which puts people out of work. And they've been doing this for a long time, visual effects. I've done a lot of visual effects in movies with crowd scenes and stuff. But I am hoping, at least with our generation, I think most of us sitting here, that your generation will still embrace the organic experience of having clothes on body in storytelling. And I believe that technology can work together. I'm optimistic, and it is a reality. So those are my thoughts.
Well, I want to see AI dressing an actor in a fitting.
I think we are all very concerned by ER. Of course, it can be nice to mix technology, we are not against, but I saw people becoming a little bit lazy. They just put two words in the machine and expect that they will have the solution, they will have the perfect shape, the perfect dress. And of course, for many people that we know, actors, people who make voices, makeup, they start already to do collections with ER.
We need the imperfection,
Yeah.
I think, and that's what the problem is. It's too perfect
Yeah.
for AI. We want something broken, and what you said was so interesting. The emotion, pain.
Yeah, we need to feel that. You need to hear what your actor will say to you in one word. One word can mean a lot, you know. I don't know if the machine, I'm not against the machine, but why the part of the creativity? What are you going to look for inside you for this emotion, this little thing who will make the difference?
There's one director that I work with who is a really visceral communicator, and often I'll create these beautiful boards, and they send me these gorgeous boards, and the fittings are really well organized with a lot of notes, and I think we've all got into the habit of depending on our boards, depending on our research. But I learned through working with this director, the only thing that matters is the look on their face the first second I see them see the image. And when I see their response to the image, I know what their real response is. And they're not being forced to articulate things in a language that is not their wheelhouse. That's why they hire us. They hire us to deal with the minutia of costume design. And so for me, it's interesting because all this technology, I find that I make these beautiful research boards, but the only time they have value is when I put them on the wall on paper. For me and my entire crew to actually look at and discuss.
Of course.
And not just when we just keep sharing files, because they just end up on something that people scroll through. And truthfully, I will put images on my walls and stare at these images every day for a month and then see something new. And it's not just a mood board that I'm just like swiping.
I think just one thing to add, and Danny, I totally am with you on that. It's a thing, but something that's not a popular subject that I think it's important to share is that as costume designers, we do not own our work. The studios own our work, so we don't have control over our intellectual property, our IP. So we hear this conversation a lot with AI. I think at one point costume designers did own their designs in the golden age of Hollywood, but we lost that along the way. So ultimately the studios can do what they will with our designs. In theater, when you're a theater designer, you own your designs. So you actually, every time a ticket is sold to see a play, you get a little piece of that. So you're creatively invested, and it also, having worked in theater as well, you are equal at the table with all the other players. So I think these questions about technology that we're having in a bigger sense about intellectual property, especially around actors and about voices and likeness, it's a conversation we've been having for a long time. And I do think that the greater conversation will only help all artists in the industry and to advocate for what we as artistic collaborators contribute to a film.
So fascinating.
Yeah, no, I'm just hearing that.
All right, let's get some questions from the audience. One up front.